Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Hello, Scooby-Doo fans, and welcome to my Season 1, Episode 12 review of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Now, I don't know exactly when this is going to be uploaded, but if it happens to be uploaded on a Thursday, which I highly doubt, but if it does, the reason for that is because Thursday is my birthday, and that's why I'm uploading on that day. But if this is uploaded on, Saturday or Friday, sometime after that, then yes, Thursday was my birthday. That's why I had a video up that day. So if you want to, say happy birthday to me in the comment section below, you're welcome to do that. But anyways, I thought for the week of my birthday, I thought I could get a nice Scooby-Doo Where Are You review. So in my last video, I continued my Let's Play of the 2018 Spider-Man video game with the release of either with the release of Part 6, if this came afterwards. If not, Part 6 will be uploaded tomorrow. But we'll see when I have that uploaded. But I believe the Spider-Man video probably will be uploaded before this. So yeah. Today I'll be covering Season 1, Episode 12 of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Titled Scooby-Doo and a Mummy 2, which was released on November 29th, 1969. So the short synopsis of the episode is pretty much the gang visits the Department of Archaeology at a university where they see an ancient mummy. However, this ancient mummy comes with a curse for any who remove him from his tomb. Shaggy accidentally takes an ancient coin, and when the gang return from their visit from the sandwich shop, they realize the mummy has come to life and is looking for the coin Shaggy took. So I believe most fans aren't really that fond of this episode, and so let's pretty much take a look at the episode to see what I think, whether I think it's a good or bad episode of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? The episode begins at a university campus, specifically the building of the Department of Archaeology. Inside the building, we meet the professor, Dr. Najib, and of course the gang, along with the mummy of Anka. The gang are informed that Anka was once the most feared ruler of ancient Egypt well over 3,000 years ago. But thanks to Dr. Najib, the mummy completes the replica of Anka's tomb. However, Dr. Najib is worried because Anka had a curse that followed him, and Anka vowed that if he was ever removed from his tomb, that he would come back to life and turn those responsible into stone. Dr. Najib then leaves, and the gang stay back to help the professor. Shaggy asks about a coin that he found with a scarab on it, and the professor tells him that it's part of an ancient mystery he hasn't been able to solve yet. Before we can learn anything more about, the coin Shaggy has, of course Shaggy is pretty hungry, so the professor tells them to go downtown and get sandwiches for all of them, and he'll wait for them there. Moments after the gang leave, the professor is studying at his desk when he hears breaking glass. When he gets up to investigate the noise, he sees the silhouette of a bandaged man walking past his office door. When he looks in the hallway, the glass entrance door has been smashed and the tomb of the mummy is empty. At the malt shop, the gang get 3 hamburgers and 3 liverwurst sandwiches a la mode, which basically means with strawberry ice cream. The whole order comes to $1.50, and Shaggy goes to pay for the order but pulls out the Egyptian coin by accident. Once he realizes this, he takes it back, and after they pay their order, they return to the Department of Archaeology with the sandwiches and the coin. Once they enter the professor's office, the lights are off. When Velma turns on the lights, they see that the professor has been turned into stone, and they realize that the mummy is probably alive. To confirm their suspicions, they inspect the mummy case, and indeed, they confirm the case is empty, which most likely means the mummy is alive. They also see that the glass door he escaped out of has shattered glass on the inside of the door, meaning the glass door was broke with someone entering the building, not leaving. So with all this mishap going on, the gang split up, with Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby going one way, and Fred and Daphne going the other way. Shaggy is the first one to run into the mummy after Velma tells him to put, all this stuff away that he and Scooby are carrying with them. And when they put it in the janitor's closet, they see the mummy. Shaggy locks the mummy in the closet long enough for them to run away. However, the mummy breaks out and of course catches up to them in the Egyptian display. Here, Velma and Shaggy are disguised, with Velma being Cleopatra and Shaggy being some sort of guard of Cleopatra, while Scooby hides in some urns. Their charade doesn't last long, with the mummy breaking the urn Scooby is hiding in and Velma sneezing from a part of her costume tickling her nose, and they are confronted by the mummy, who asked for the coin. Scooby then gets a box of Scooby snacks from Shaggy to distract the mummy with his boxing and karate skills, as well as his hilarious dancing skills. He eventually sneaks behind the mummy and pins him down with nails, which distracts him long enough for them to escape and go find Fred and Daphne.
Here we go again! Wow, what a time to find a locked door!
Shoot! Go away!
Huh? Yeah, your mummy's calling you! Oh, no sense of humor, huh?
Coin?
Okay, like here's a quarter.
I'll bet he means that old Egyptian coin. Don't give it to him, Shaggy.
Stop him, Scooby! Not even for a Scooby snack? Okay. That away, Scooby! Give him the old karate treatment!
How do you like that? He danced out and deserted us.
Yeah, but you gotta admit, he wasn't bad.
I guess we'll have to give him the old coin, Shaggy.
Yeah. Good old Scooby.
I knew he wouldn't let us down. Now let's go find Daphne and Freddy and tell them we caught the mummy.
Outside, Fred and Daphne spot some footprints and follow them, basically. The footprints then disappear in an area where they're building an addition to the gym. But they find Dr. Najib's car, where they find Dr. Najib himself turned into stone. We then cut back to Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby, who return after they can't find Fred and Daphne, and they see that the mummy is gone. However, Velma finds a shred of tape the mummy was wrapped up in, and she doesn't feel that it's 3,000 years old. So, Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby head off to the school lab to test it to see whether this thing is 3,000 years old or not. Before she can get the results, though, the mummy then reappears, and Velma creates a diversion so they can escape. Leaving the lab, Velma and Shaggy meet up with Fred and Daphne. However, Scooby is missing and must have, been nabbed by the mummy. Outside, Shaggy discovers that Scooby has been turned into stone, and in a nearby shed, Scooby emerges out of a hole he dug as Shaggy thinks he's lost Scooby. However, he hasn't, and he's happy to find Scooby still alive and not turned into stone. The gang then go back to investigate more about the mummy, and in the professor's office, Velma reads a book the professor was researching and exclaims that Anka was the richest ruler of Egypt. She also spots a statue that has the same scarab image as the coin Shaggy has. But then the mummy burst in, and so the entire gang take off to the woodshop on the second floor. When Fred tells Daphne to turn off the lights to lose the mummy, of course danger-prone Daphne activates the power saw that cuts a hole into the ground, which sends them to the school's Olympic pool. In a fit of rage, the mummy throws the power saw still plugged in at them, and they manage to evade the saw after a scary chase. Resting on the pool's change room benches, Shaggy sits on the mummy's lap by accident, and when he realizes, Shaggy and Scooby run away, separate from the gang as another chase scene takes place.
Well, we lost him.
Yeah, and like I gotta rest, I'm Tiredsville. And my feet are killing me. All 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
Our cowardly duo run into an area where they discover bags of quick-drying mold cement along with molds for statues. Realizing they found out how the stone statues were made, the mummy chases after them, and Shaggy and Scooby hide in a shed. But then they realize that the mummy is sealing the entrance of the shed where they're hidden. Inside the shed, they find the professor in a canvas bag. However, rather than letting him go, Shaggy keeps him tied up and tells him that they'll be right back for them. Using an electric power mower, Shaggy smashes through the shed wall and they crash into the gymnasium. Scooby is riding the power mower and it crashes into the mummy, and they bounce across a series of gym equipment until the mummy becomes entangled in a basketball net. Removing the bandages, they of course discover that the mummy is Dr. Najib. The episode then ends with the professor explaining that Dr. Najib knew the secret of the coin, but when he broke in to steal it, the professor surprised him, so he kidnapped him. He also realized the gang must have had the coin because he couldn't find it in the display, so he waited for them to come back. Fred then solves the coin puzzle on the hippo statue and unlocks a huge diamond scarab worth a fortune. Scooby also finds the real mummy tucked away between two plants. I'm going to give Season 1, Episode 12 of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? 2 stars out of 5. Now, since I gave it 2 stars, we'll start off with the positives of the episode. I don't really have much, so let's just get into them. So, the first one, obviously, is the humor. I really do like the humor in this episode, and I think Shaggy, Scooby, and the mummy himself definitely have the best humorous moments in this episode. There are definitely a lot of great, funny moments from our usual duo, and of course, the villain gets some nice, humorous moments because of the gang. Speaking of the gang, I also think the gang are another positive as well. I really enjoy the gang's interactions with each other and just, doing a few teenage things, going to a campus or university, it's pretty cool, and we get some nice teenage moments together and some bonding and some interactions. I did like that with the gang, so I thought that was pretty interesting and made the episode a little bit better. But that's all I really got for positives, so let's move on with the negatives. So obviously, because this is a 2-star episode, this isn't exactly going to be, there's going to be a few negatives. So I'll start with the villain himself, the Mummy of Anchor, or just the Mummy if we're going to call it, which I'm going to call it that. Now, like I said, the Mummy has some nice humorous moments. It has a good groan, and I do like the ability that it could turn people into stone. But as far as that, I think the Mummy is not an engaging or interesting or even scary villain. Now, villains being scary or all the villains don't have to be scary. I don't mind a humorous villain. I just like, I also like just a mix of, humor interesting, or humor and scary, or scary or interesting, or just a mixture of things, because humor can only get me so far. Sure, the villain has a few positives, but because he's not interesting or scary, I don't find him an engaging villain besides those few aspects. I also think the motive of the Mummy is pretty bare bones. We do have a lot of money motives, so it's not really the fact that it's a money motive. It's just it's not a inventive or compelling money motive. It's basically Dr. Najib wants, the scarab, basically the diamond, and to get money. So it feels like kind of just a petty crime. Nothing really too inventive. Just kind of something that anybody. That's kind of the appeal of some Scooby villains. I don't know. I like some of the Scooby villains to do something more inventive and, pretty cool ways to earn money. I think another reason why the motive is so weak is that the mystery in the villain himself is not that great, so that's why it feels bare bones. Speaking of the mystery, I didn't like the mystery in this episode. If I'm going to be honest, the lore of this mystery was just not good. The Mummy's lore wasn't really that interesting, besides the ability to turn people into stone, and that was the only thing I found interesting about the whole mystery. I wasn't really interested in why the Mummy wanted the coin, because, and even when that was explained, it didn't make me feel like, oh, that makes it so much better now. No, when it just made it feel more bare bones. I wasn't really vested why the Mummy wanted the coin and what was the purpose of it, what was its goal. I was more interested in how they were going to get the people who were turned into stone back, and how he turned people into stone. And when they explained how he turned people into stone, while I could accept it for Dr. Najib doing it one for himself and for the professor, I kind of find it a bit of a stretch for Scooby. Even though it's a cartoon, I just still find it a bit of a stretch. I think it's just because, how can you make one of Scooby that quickly? I just can't believe that. With the professor and himself, I can definitely agree with that, and they definitely establish, how he was able to make those stone statues. But with Scooby, I just kind of found it not believable. It was too quick. It didn't feel like, he could have done it with Scooby that quickly. I think also Dr. Najib out of the Mummy costume, doesn't really do anything. He kind of just explains the Mummy's lore, and then he leaves, and then you never see him again, except as a stone statue, and then when he's revealed at the end as the villain. So he's not really doing much in this, so he's not really a compelling person out of costume. I also think the identity of the Mummy, well, I do like that we have, suspects in this episode that, and they actually pay it off by, showing us the suspect beforehand. Like I said, even though Dr. Najib wasn't interesting. But the identity of the mummy just kind of predictable, to be quite honest. I mean, let's face it, you got two guys. You got the professor and you got Dr. Najib. Those are the only two. And once the professor is shown, in the shed, you could pretty much rule it out and be like, alright, it's either Dr. Najib or they're going to pull another unknown person out of their ass. Which, thank God they didn't do, because I'm not one for unknown. I really don't like when they do an unknown suspect, because I kind of like to see the person out of costume, get a feel for them, so that way you can suspect them. If we don't see them beforehand, it kind of doesn't make it really much of a mystery, because we don't know this person, we never see them beforehand. But with Dr. Najib, we did see him beforehand, so it does make sense. But I just found it a bit predictable because, I think there was just, because there was two suspects and the professor was already captured and put in the shed. And it just didn't... It felt more like Dr. Najib was going to be the villain than, the professor. It just didn't match up to be the professor to me. I think it was more predictable that it would be Dr. Najib, but it was. But those are all my negatives. So, overall, I do not recommend this episode to fans and newcomers of the show. While it's not the worst episode of Scooby-Doo, there are definitely far worse episodes of the Where Are You series and Scooby-Doo in general. It's not one that I'll revisit much in the future. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Please give it a like if you did. Comment down below your thoughts on the episode. Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere in the middle? I'm curious for your thoughts, so leave them in the comment section below. And let me know. And subscribe for more Scooby-Doo content like this, or if you're just interested in any of my other content. You can also follow me on Facebook, where I have future polls for future videos, discussions, about shit that I talk about on both of my channels, and updates for both of the channels as well. And Twitch, where I hope to live stream in the future. In my next video, I will continue with my Spider-Man 2018, Let's Play of the video game. Whether it'll be part 6 or part 7 depends on when this is uploaded, but we'll see. Thanks you guys so much for watching, and as always, peace out.